Alright, so in this video we're going to start running a multi-linear regression model for this data, and I'll include the source for this data in the description so you can download it yourself and follow along. In the previous video we kind of looked into the scatter plot matrix of all the different variables and kind of noticed some interesting relationships here. And so now let's go ahead and run a regression model and see what happens. And now I'm going to copy this into a new spreadsheet. So let me create a new spreadsheet and call it data. Okay, and so let's just copy this. Control C and Control V. I like charges to be, so let's cut this and paste it here. Insert cut. I like it just to be my Y variable to be all the way over to the right, or sorry, to the left. Age is going to be X1. Sex. Now sex, I'm going to actually cut this one, so Control X and Control V. I'm just going to put it here at in the back for right now. So Control X, Control V. So this is going to, BMI is going to be X2. The number of children you have, so Control X, Control V, copy and paste it here. This is going to be X3. Okay. All right, so these are my quantitative variables, and these are my categorical variables. I need to change these to be numbers, right? If I'm doing a multiple linear regression, and I'm going to need these guys to be numbers rather than categories, okay? So the way we do that is we basically create like index variables or indicator variables, okay? And so what we'll do is for smoker, so smoker is only 2 categories, yes or no. So I need to choose which category do I want to be the indicator. I'll go ahead and choose smoker yes. Okay, so I'll do smoker or yes smoker. Okay, and I'm going to type in equals, and I'm going to use an if statement. So if equals if, this is, I'm going to click that cell, and then let me say equals, if that cell equals, and then yes. Okay, so use quotes around yes, make sure that you're using lowercase so it matches exactly there. And then value if true, I want to use 1. Value if false, 0. Okay. And so let's do that exact same thing for actually for all of the, sorry, can't double click because it's not sitting there right next to it, so I gotta scroll it all the way down. So I got my cursor to look like that black cross. I'm just bringing it all the way down for all of my data. Okay, and I have a lot of data here, so it's gonna take a second to get all the way to the bottom, but I think this will be the only time I have to do it. After that I should just be able to double click. Okay, all right, next actually so this is going to be, let me use this one as X4. The next easy one is sex, so let's do sex next. So sex, and I want to label this one X5. Now, let's choose a sex. So you have male or female here. So I have 2 options. So I can indicate yes for male or female. It doesn't matter which one, but it does matter later when you're doing your interpretation that you know at least what you did. So I'm going to say female. Female. Okay, and I'm going to say equals if this equals female, quote, female, value if true, it was a 1, and then value if false is 0. Okay, so once you have that written in there, get your cursor to look like this black cross, and then double click, and it'll scroll it all the way down for you. That's nice. All right, the next is regions. Now I have 4 regions. I have southwest, southeast, northwest, and northeast. Okay. I need to create an indicator variable for 3 out of these 4 categories. So this actually is going to turn into 3 3 variables. Now, why not all 4? Well, just like how if I have yes smoker, I don't need no smoker, right? If one of the variables completely describes the other variable, then you don't need both. So you always have one less indicator variable than you have categories. So the first one is gonna be southwest. This will be X6. Then I'm going to have southeast, and this is going to be X7. And then I'm going to have north. Let's do northwest. So I'm going to be comparing all of these to northeast. All right, so northeast would be my baseline, basically. All right, so this equals if this region here equals southwest, close parentheses, and then I want a 1 if true and a 0 if false. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Equals if, okay, this cell equals southeast, close parentheses, 1 for true, 0 if false. Equals if, all right, click this first cell, equals northwest, 1 for true, 0 for false. All right, so once you have your formulas, highlight the first column there, or first row, and then double click on that bottom right hand corner, and it'll scroll it all for you. So you can double check. See, southeast, that one is 1. For this one here, northwest, good. If we have northeast, we should have all zeros, good. Okay. So now highlight these and press right click and press copy, and then right click again and press paste special values only. Okay, so what did I just do? I got rid of the formula. The reason I don't want the formula behind there because later, now I'm about to highlight these guys and then right click and press delete. So when I deleted those, it didn't mess up all my formulas. Okay. Let me go home. I like to format everything to look the same. All right, so great. Now I have, this is my charges and these are all my X's. Okay. Multiple linear regression model. Okay. So I'm ready to go ahead and run that. Now I could use, to find my coefficients, I could use B equals X transpose X inverse, right, times X, or times X transpose times Y, right? And actually, yeah, let me go ahead and do that first. So how would I do that? I would say equals, so this is going to be, I have to do it in parts. So the first part that I'm going to do is X transpose X. Okay, so let's figure this out. So equals matrix multiplication, okay? And X, now this is the most common mistake students will make, is they'll highlight X as just all their X variables, but don't forget the X matrix in this includes a column of 1s for the intercept. So let me insert this and call this, actually I'm not going to call it anything, I'm just going to fill it all in with 1s. Okay, so double click, fill that all in with 1s. You could call it X0. Nah, I don't know, or just 1. I'll just call it 1s. Okay. So this equals matrix multiplication, so mult. All right, and the first array, or first matrix, is the transpose. So type in transpose, and then click all of, so starting with that 1, and then this entire thing, so Control Shift down to highlight it all. Okay, then do a comma. All right, scroll back up. Okay, let me actually close parentheses for that transpose, okay? Then do a comma. All right, now then highlight that matrix again. So Shift Control over and then Shift Control down. Okay, close parentheses. Okay, so let's see. We have the transpose of this guy times that guy. Good. Press enter, and it'll give me x transpose x. All right, next I need x transpose x inverse. All right, inverse. Oops. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So this equals m inverse, so matrix inverse. Okay, and then just highlight that guy. Close parentheses and press OK. All right, next we need x transpose x inverse times x transpose. So m mult, okay? And the first array is going to be this guy. And the second array is going to be the transpose of x. So type in transpose and then highlight x again. Shift Control down to highlight it all. Close parenthesis. Scroll back up. And close parenthesis again. Press enter. And there it is. Okay. So now that times y. And that will basically be what the b is. So this equals mult, okay, all this stuff, okay, so highlight it all, and then y. Y is this first column here. So Shift Control down to highlight it all, close parenthesis, and press enter. Okay, so there we go. This is my least squares coefficients. All right, now Excel will do this automatically for you, so you don't need to use this matrix multiplication, but it is important that you understand how to do this. Okay, so let's go and show you how Excel will do it for you. So let's go to Data, Data Analysis, scroll down till you get to Regression and press OK. If you haven't closed Excel in a while, you might have things already in there. Let's delete whatever is in there. Okay, so y range, that's going to be my y. So starting with y charges and then scroll down, Shift Control down to highlight it all. All right, x input. Now x's you don't need to include the ones for Excel. Excel will do that for you. So just start with your first variable. Press Shift to go all the way down to your other variables. All your variables here are now highlighted. Then hold Shift, Control, and then down to highlight it all. Okay, so that highlights all of your data. Include labels. Yeah, I highlighted the labels when I was highlighting my data. And then let's put this output on a new output range. I want to output this as multiple linear regression output, or Toolpak output. I like to include the residuals, the residual plots, the normal probability plot. I like to create this myself. So just press OK. All right, and it has found this vector here. So actually, these are all the coefficients. If I were to copy this and go back, let me move this past data, and then go back up, right, and paste it here. Copy, Control C, paste, Control V. We see that the what we calculated as our coefficients is exactly the same as what Excel calculated for the coefficients. So that's good. Control V or Z to undo that. Okay. All right, but Excel gives us more than just the coefficients. It also gave us the standard error, gave us all this stuff. But before we can really start interpreting any of this, really, we need to make sure that our model assumptions aren't being extremely violated. So let's look at some of our plots here. We have, so the categorical plots are kind of hard to kind of get much out of, but this plot here, still there might be something going on. We have maybe some grouping that's occurring. what you want to see is just a random scatter. This BMI residual plot is really kind of concerning. So yeah, I'm thinking that we are going to need probably some transformations, or we're going to need to look into this further before we can start making interpretations based off of this plot here, or this analysis. All right, so because I'm seeing here, I'm seeing like maybe potential like groupings of data in these residual plots. I'm thinking that some sort of maybe a interaction variable may be appropriate to add here to try to help with this. So my model may be incorrectly specified. So an interaction maybe with smoking. So both for age and BMI, smoking might be a good interaction to consider. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to relabel this. I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. I'm going to call this data with interactions. Okay, and highlight my data. So press Control-C to copy it and Control-V to paste it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new variable here, and this is going to be called age times smoking. So age times smoking. And then I'm also going to do BMI times smoking. Also, BMI times age might be another good interaction to kind of look into. So let's just see what happens when we include these. So age versus smoking will be age times yes smoker. Okay. So I just highlighted that times smoking. Okay. Equals BMI. So BMI times where's smoking? Smoking. Okay. Then BMI times age. So BMI times age. Okay. So once you've created the first row, highlight the first row here, and then get your cursor to look like this black cross. Double click, fill it all in for you. All right. Let me go and format these guys. Okay. So now let's go to data analysis, and press regression. Okay. Let's see what we have here. So let's just delete it, and then we'll fill it in again. So Y input range is going to be here. So press that first, the charges, Shift Control down, highlight it all. The X range, let me go back up. All right, I don't need the ones, right? The ones were just for our matrix when we were doing this using matrices, but Excel will create that for us. So start with age, Shift all the way over to all of your variables, then hold the Shift Control down to highlight it all. And let's see, so we included labels. All right. So, oops, multiple linear, that should be multiple linear regression. And then with interactions. Okay, let me just delete that. So multiple linear regression with interactions, and press OK. All right. Move this over here. And actually, this should be multiple linear regressions, not G. Multiple linear regression. Okay. Okay. So let's see if that helped anything. Ooh, this is looking a lot better. Okay, there's still something interesting going on with BMI. Okay. Okay, and then the categorical variable plots are kind of harder to look at. But we still have something going on with BMI. Let's look at our coefficients. If there's any interaction that is potentially just not useful, sometimes you'll see it here. Although, you know, really without knowing that all your model assumptions are being appropriately, you can't really interpret these t value or p values, but it kind of does give you a general sense of like whether or not that was an important interaction. And it looks like age versus smoking actually may not be an important interaction, so I could get rid of that one. It looks like BMI versus smoking was the most important interaction. You see that p-value is really low. And since we're still having this, potential problem here with BMI, let's go ahead and delete. Let's only keep the BMI and smoking interaction. So let's delete these two. So highlight them, right click, and press delete. Okay, so we only have, it's complaining, the BMI and smoking. So let's go ahead and delete this one. Delete, okay, and then run that regression again. Data analysis, regression, okay. Age through BMI smoking, and then highlight all your data. All right, and press OK. Okay, move that over. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Pretty good for the age. Okay, still something going on there, but that's okay. Okay, so I feel like this is better than it was. All right, so I feel like my model is not horribly specified right now. So that these parameters I'm including look like they are all decent parameters to be including here. So the next thing that I want to do is check whether or not my residuals make sense. Are my residuals, are they following that normal distribution? Do they have homogeneous variance, that type of thing? So yeah, let's do that. We'll save that for the next video. We need to analyze these residuals. We'll create a normal probability plot, histogram, box plot, all that for these residuals, and then see if we need to make any additional transformations to help those guys out.